This is Jeremy.
And this is Nick.
Welcome to another episode of Cloud of Witnesses.
Journey with the Saints.
Nick, we are, as always, just so blessed to be able to bring another episode, another short episode.
Yeah, indeed.
One of Christ's most famous and maybe even often quoted words or phrases comes from his Sermon on the Mount, where he says, a man cannot serve two masters. And I think in today's story, Nick, we're going to hear a real life example of how that comes to play. Christianity is not just something you can hold in your head. Christianity must be lived. And I think that we're going to see that is extremely clear in today's message.
Yes. So without further ado, here is the story of Saint Crescens. You cannot serve two masters.
Enjoy.
Brothers and sisters, let us hear the wisdom which comes from the lips of God's chosen saints and martyrs, who, by their unwavering commitment to Christ and the true faith, are lanterns guiding us on the difficult path to salvation. One day, the holy martyr Crescens, a 3rd century nobleman from Myra in Asia Minor, witnessed a large crowd of Roman pagans who were making their way to a temple to offer sacrifice to their false gods.
Dear one, where are all these people headed? And why do so many march in such a drunken and riotous fashion?
Don't you know, Crescens? They are on their way to the temple of Jupiter to offer sacrifice and perform their rituals.
After witnessing the crowd, Crescens was moved to compassion on the crowd, who were lying in the darkness of pagan belief.
O crowd, listen to me and hear my words.
Huh? And who are you? Why should we listen to you on our way to the temple on Jupiter's day?
Why would our God, who you falsely to believe a multitude of different beings, desire you to live and worship in such a debased manner?
Great are the names of the Roman gods. Do you dare question their authority and invoke their wrath upon yourself?
Do not be deceived. The qualities of the divine are goodness, truth, and peace, none of which your so-called gods possess, nor can bestow upon their followers.
Go preach your Christian God somewhere else.
Look at the fruits your gods have given you. You serve them in fear and in riotous rituals. What kind of life is this to live? Come to Christ, who is God in the flesh, and go to his church, and you shall behold the true God, the God of goodness, truth, and peace.
Wait, maybe we should listen to what this man is saying. He's always been kind to me.
I'll stay and see what he has to say.
With Crescens' great witness, many of the crowd were converted and left their pagan ways. Others, seeing the disruption he was causing, informed the local authorities, and soon Crescens was arrested and put on trial.
So, Crescens, you have been found guilty of disobeying the Roman law, disrespecting the gods, and have refused to offer incense to the statues to gain forgiveness from all. Do you know the penalty is death?
I count it joy to offer myself as a sacrifice to the one true God.
I see that you are a man of good repute and wealth in your city of Myra, and that many respect you. Come, let us spare your life. Only offer incense and praise to the Roman gods with your hands and lips, but in your heart and soul, bow to your God.
Dear Governor, the body cannot do anything independently from the soul. The soul is the driving force and leader of the body, and therefore the body cannot do anything that contradicts what is within the soul. To offer incense and praise to the idols in the body would mean that I have already done so in my heart and soul.
Ah, you pesky Christian. That is enough. Guards, take him to the gallows so that all may see what happens to those who follow after this Jesus of Nazareth.
Yes, Governor.
And with this, Crescens was granted the great and imperishable crown of martyrdom in heaven. And what do we learn from the fearless example of Christ's saint and martyr? We learn that this is truly impossible to serve two masters. Saint Crescens clearly refutes those who think they can live however they like, but at the same time they deceive themselves, thinking that because they believe only in their mind that they truly serve God. But in truth, those who believe only in their mind but do not abide by the commandments of God are not followers of God at all. By the prayers of Saint Crescens, may we all be inspired to live in a way pleasing only to the one true God.
What a story.
What a powerful story.
Yeah. A very intense story.
One of my favorite parts of this whole story, Nick, the story of St. Crescens, is this very real offer, right? The governor makes this offer. Hey, no big deal, right? Just from the outward appearances, sure, everyone's going to see you offering incense and worshiping, but inside, deep down in your heart, you know that you're just praying to God.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds so much like the words of Satan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, did he really say, and why not just jump off this cliff?
Yeah.
The way Satan tries to entice you with, it's not that big of a deal,
Yeah, so true.
And you make a great point, Nick, about how it is a big deal. In fact, it's the biggest deal.
Yeah.
It's the very nature of Christianity. It's why Christ, the second person of the Trinity, was incarnated as a true man, because that connection between the soul and the body matters. We can't just say, well, in my head, I'm doing the right thing, but my body's doing the bad thing. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah. I think, for Christians, for us living today, it's a great witness. And, Jeremy.
It's a great challenge.
Yeah, it's a great challenge. But I'm thankful that we have such a witness of these saints to come before us to show us the true way to witness.
Absolutely.
Not only to the world, but to ourselves, right? How we should live our lives, right?
Yep.
And-
Nick, I think these things come up every single day.
Yeah.
Maybe not to the point, of course, by God's grace, we're not living in a country where our lives are on the line. But think about it. Every single day, there are opportunities where our faith is questioned or challenged. And the question is, are we going to live our faith? Or are we going to kind of do one thing outwardly and think that we're okay because we're thinking the right way inwardly?
And it's so easy to go down that line.
Yeah.
There's so many different temptations, in this world, especially through the media, through technology, through, so much of our quote unquote American pop culture has fallen so far away from its Christian roots.
Absolutely.
It's actually
pure,
sad.
It's pure secularism.
Yeah, it's very sad. And what we really need is a rebirth of true Christian spirituality to rebirth this bankrupt American culture.
Amen.
And by God's grace, it can happen. But again, it needs to happen through people.
Through people
their
living
actions.
their faith.
Yes.
Living
indeed.
their faith.
Indeed.
Not just walking around saying they believe.
And, it's very interesting because what you were saying actually off the mic not too long ago was that if it were any way different, there would be no martyrs at all.
No martyrs would exist, ladies and gentlemen.
Because there would be no point. Because if we could just simply go on autopilot and turn our bodies into puppets and, I'll just live secularly, I'll just offer incense to the gods, I'll just do this, I'll just do that, just like everyone else is doing.
But in my heart, I'm really believing in Jesus while I'm engaged in this pagan, secular, this or that.
The ways of the world.
Absolutely, Nick.
Insert ways of the world here. Well, then what would be the point? Where would be the witness?
Right.
Where would be the martyrs?
Right.
So
And they would have died in vain, Nick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Saint Ignatius, who is one of the most famous martyrs in the church, think about that. He could have done the same thing. He could have easily said, look, dying's painful. Doesn't sound very fun to get eaten by wild animals.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to follow through. I'm going to worship Caesar. And then, in my heart, in my mind, I'm going to just stick with God. And God knows my heart. And God knows I'm still a Christian. But he didn't, Nick. And he didn't because of what Saint Crescens brings out here. The heart, the mind is not separated from what we do with our bodies.
The last part that the narrator shares, actually written by Saint Nikolai Velimirovich in his 2-volume series Prologue, which is daily lives of the saints, and Saint Nikolai writes little reflections and homilies for every day that accompany the saints, and he says that Saint Crescens' witness clearly refutes those who think that you can live one way but then believe in your mind in another. He says that he clearly refutes that this is incorrect theology and incorrect practice.
That's powerful words in today's American Protestant world. Absolutely needs to be heard.
Yeah. And only by God's grace, can we have the courage
Absolutely
to do this. And by God's grace, we also have the witness of countless generations who have come before us. And
they've done it. They've lived it.
That's where we can be strengthened, so that whether or not the authorities or our peers turn on us in our lifetime, that we will have the strength to be able to have just as strong and clear of a witness as Saint Crescens, as Saint Ignatius, as all the saints that have witnessed, whether they were martyred or not.
Right. Amen. Yeah. No, I've got nothing else to add to that, Nick. I think it's powerful. It's important, and I hope for our audience that it's edifying. We do hope you enjoyed this episode today. We hope you learned something.
Yeah.
And ultimately, we really hope that you are taking these messages, for example, of Saint Crescens here, into your life, and applying these godly doctrines and wisdom and Christian faithfulness as an inspiration in your own life.
Yeah.
Nick, where can people find us if they want to know more?
Yeah, so check us out on YouTube as well. Both for Instagram and YouTube, you can find us. Our handle is Cloud of Witnesses Radio. We're also on Spotify. You can find us at Cloud of Witnesses Journey with the Saints.
Anywhere podcasts are found.
Including Amazon Music and Google Podcasts.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope that this was inspiring for you.
God bless you.
I'm Scott, and I was the narrator.
I'm Chris, and I was the guard.
I'm Dominic, and I was a drunk.
I'm Dominique, and I was a drunk as well.
I'm Joshua, and I was the voice of the governor.
I'm Hallie, and I was the onlooker.
I'm Tirza, and I was one of the bystanders.
I'm Daniel, and I was Saint Crescens.
And guys, this is Cloud of Witnesses, Journey with the Saints.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Cloud of Witnesses, Journey with the Saints. We hope it proved to be exciting and inspiring for all of our listeners. May God, through the prayers of His most pure Mother and all the saints, guide us all to the heavenly homeland. We hope to see you next time here on Cloud of Witnesses, Journey with the Saints.